There's actually 1,000 days after a child is born, Mike, that you can literally affect their IQ with proper nutrition. That's why our target audience is 5 years old and under.
Welcome to Get Unstuck On Target, the weekly podcast that offers senior leaders insights and strategies to not only lead with confidence and vision, but also to achieve groundbreaking results. I'm your host, Mike O'Neill. I coach top-level executives on the power of ethical leadership to forge teams to be as united as they are effective. In each episode, join me for insightful conversations with leaders just like you, providing practical advice to help you get unstuck and propel you and your company forward. Let's get started. Joining me are Patricia Watlington and Dr. Anany Prosper, better known as Dr. Anany. They are key leaders of the nonprofit Children's Nutrition Program, Haiti. Patricia is their executive director, and Dr. Anany is their country director. Welcome, Patricia and Dr. Anany.
Thank you so much, Mike. We're so delighted to be here with you.
Thank you for inviting us.
We're going to deviate from our norm with this episode, and we're going to do so for a couple of reasons. One, I only recently learned of this organization while attending an International Business Council event in which both Dr. Anany and Patricia were in attendance. And it was in that conversation that I kind of was learning a little bit more about their organization. But here's what prompted me to invite them on the podcast. Namely, yes, we're going to talk about the horrendous challenges in Haiti. But I'm also want to be able, in this conversation, to give our viewers and listeners some sense of how they have worked closely to overcome those challenges, but understand the challenges are big. Let me set the stage. I did not know this, but 1 in 5 Haitian children, they're chronically malnourished. And even more sadly, 1 in 14 Haitian children die before their 5th birthday, rather. And that's sobering. And so may I read, if I can, and that is, it reads, the Children's Nutrition Program Haiti seeks to reduce childhood mortality and morbidity and improve the nutritional status of children and women through 3 primary types of interventions: community mobilization and empowerment, growth monitoring and health promotion, and therapeutic and clinical care. Now, that's a lot to unpack. But what I wanted to be able to do in this conversation is first highlight just the what is now a multi-generational challenge in Haiti. So why don't we start with that? The issues that are happening in Haiti, these are not new, are they?
Unfortunately, they're not new, Mike. They've been going on for a very long time. And sadly, the nation of Haiti has been the recipient of an awful lot of crises through the years. Some they caused themselves, some that were caused on them by other nations, including our own. And so it's been a very, very sad history for the people of Haiti.
Patricia, you were born in Maine, live in Chattanooga, Tennessee. What is it about this that caught your attention and captured your heart? Why have you said yes to be the executive director of this organization?
Good question, Mike. I was actually born in Canada. And years ago, my cousin actually graduated from engineering school and moved fresh out of college to Haiti. And I thought, what a strange move that is. He could have had job opportunities all over the world. And so that kind of piqued my interest to some degree. But I guess what really was interesting for me is I happened to move next door to the founder of the Children's Nutrition Program of Haiti. And he's a big Tennessee fan, was a football player for Tennessee. He's an interesting person all in himself. He was born in a family of 7 children to mute, deaf and dumb parents. They were both mute. And 2 sets of twins. Mitch was one of the twins. Anyway, he would tell me about this program. And my first language is French, French Canadian. And I happened to be asking him a lot of questions. And one day he said, Patricia, you need to go to Haiti with us. And I'd had a nursing background, very brief nursing background, doing private duty. But so I took him on his offer and we went, and that was the end of that. I went and saw these children who literally have nothing, and yet they're the happiest, smiliest little children. I just couldn't get over it. It really struck me that they had so little and yet were so joyful. And why was that? And so that's sort of what touched my heartstrings, and the rest is history.
Dr. Anany, you were born in Haiti, as I understand.
That is correct.
And what I understand is you have experienced firsthand these natural and man-made disasters. In what way did that kind of influence your choice to go into medicine? And more importantly, it's not just medicine, but medicine on scale.
First, growing up in Haiti and being part of the society, and I was looking at what is the best way that I could put myself available for my brothers and sisters. And believe it or not, when I was 15, 16, I was thinking to go to the priest, to be a priest.
I see.
And then later on, and I realized, the medical field, with the support of my mom, we say that's the best choice. And it gave me this opportunity to have time and have support from other people to build a system where we can protect the future of the next generation by providing quality healthcare, but also looking at the anthropologic aspect. Or we have a healthcare system that can be set up to the need of the local populations.
There are so many different ways we could take this conversation. What seems to emerge is one, I wanted to make sure that our listeners have an understanding of the challenges that y'all are facing every day. For one, you are speaking to me from Chattanooga, Tennessee. You're the country director, Dr. Anany, but as I understand, you're restricted from even being in Haiti. Why is it you can't go to Haiti right now?
Haiti faced a wave of man-made and natural disaster. But for the past 2 years, we have layers of complications because of the assassination of the president and the failure of the social and economic parameters. So from there, for the past 1 year and a half, no matter how we would like to support Haiti, going to Haiti physically become a life-threatening situations. Therefore, we rely on the local teams with their knowledge, their capacity, and their moral aspect also to accept to take the challenge to run the organizations. So that's why I find myself as the country director to be running the program at distance for the past 1 year and a half. It is not easy, but our mission is to make sure there is a sense of ownership from the local populations. They feel that and they know they have a voice on the overall missions. And because of this trustful relationship, the community and the local leaders become the first line of our protections. And on the decision-making process, they have a voice, and this helps us to continue to deliver a good quality healthcare services.
I think there are lessons right now for us as leaders right now, and that is you've got several challenges that we're only going to be able to touch on a little bit. One of them is awareness of the problem. And Patricia, we spoke offline, is that here in the States, we see, but we forget so quickly.
Very true. And, I shared with you earlier, we had massive thunderstorms here in Tennessee last night and in Alabama. And we have resources driving here this morning. There are fire trucks, there are the telephone trucks, there are police officers, there are people taking care of the issues. They're moving the trees that fall and so on and so forth. In Haiti, there are no resources. And, one of the touching things for me to watch Dr. Anany through the years is, your listeners can understand that since COVID, lots of people worked remotely, but trying to keep the morale up with a team of people that are living a nightmare in Haiti is really an amazing challenge. And so many of our workers who've been with us for 25 years or more oftentimes show up, risk their own lives to reach these children suffering from malnutrition and are not getting paid because the banks in the capital, Port-au-Prince, are not able to get the money to them. So that's a real telling thing. So I guess more importantly, I think what really we can take away from all of this is the human spirit. Haitians are tremendously resilient. I did not know there until I took my first trip there. And there's a real community feeling there. They take care of each other. They take care of their children. If you see your child doing something wrong, they take care of it right then and there. And so that has kept the Haitian people aloft. It kept them alive. But right now, honestly, this is probably the worst in the history of Haiti that they've ever lived. It's worse than the earthquake they experienced in 2010, where almost 300,000 people were killed. Imagine that. So little resources. It's worse than that now. The humanitarian crisis there is even worse than that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's appropriate. I don't want any way to jeopardize y'all's efforts, but what I understand about the circumstance is that there is political unrest, and there are the challenges of gains, not one or two, but dozens of gains. And then I'm also understanding is Haiti is not a large country, but the main city, the main port is Port-au-Prince.
Right.
And am I correct to understand that when Port-au-Prince is basically overrun with gangs, it basically cuts off a lot of the ability, Dr. Anany, to be able to get your products if you're bringing it from the outside of the country into the country?
Yes, this is the logistical challenge at two steps. Outside of the country, or to have companies that accept to ship to Haiti, it takes time to find that. Secondly, when you finally have a company that accepts to ship to Haiti, they have to go through Port-au-Prince. The fact that Port-au-Prince was a centralized place for the public administrations, it created liability for every hiccup happening in Port-au-Prince. The negative wave touched the other 10 million people. And this is exactly what we are facing. Even to have the medicine and the antibiotics and the IV fluid, it used to take us like a good 2 months to order it from outside to reach Port-au-Prince and Léogane, where we were. But currently, only to negotiate, to have that, it's more than 6 months. And in country, Port-au-Prince to our area, which was 2 and 3 hours delivery timetables, now it took us 3 weeks. Why? Because there is no man's land between Port-au-Prince and where we operate. It's only 30 miles, but we cannot get it. So, all we managed to do that. We are the missions, and we cannot provide a long-term impact without to make sure the package of healthcare services we are providing take in account the need of the local people. So because of that, thanks God, we are able to work with the local community, and they help us with third party to have our shipment from Port-au-Prince to Léogane. So in other words, our first line of defense and the group of people who protect us, it is the community that we are working with and we are working for, if I can put it that way.
Well said. Thank you. Patricia, you about to say something?
Well, I was just going to say that, the bad actors, Mike, in Port-au-Prince, Port-au-Prince is a population of about 1.5 million people, and the majority of those gangs are located there. But you have another 10 million people in the rest of the country that are suffering. They have nothing to do with what's happening in the capital. And so that's the struggle, that's the challenge. And, you could just say, oh, I'm just going to close my eyes and forget that it even is happening. But, Port-au-Prince and Haiti, the country of Haiti, is so close to our shores. It's not across the other side of the world. It's so close to our shores. And that's telling, and that's concerning as well. And so we do everything we possibly can to be able to reach these children that are suffering.
I hate to say it the way it's going to come out, but it starts with having the funds necessary to do this. And Patricia, I know you're the executive director, but it would seem to me that you're primarily tasked with creating awareness that this problem has not gone away. In fact, it's gotten worse. What are the challenges have you faced in trying to keep that awareness in front of your existing donors and trying to attract new donors when this problem is not, quote, short-lived? It's multi-generational.
Very good point. It's difficult, as we all know, to try to paint a picture of a place and the people if you've never experienced or been there. It's very difficult. That applies to everything in life. You can relate to things you've experienced. And so the biggest challenge for us is that we can't physically take you or some listeners to Haiti to see what our operations are all about. Why do we do what we do? How do we do it? What's the purpose of it? What's the end result? And so forth. So trying to paint that picture for our partners and our supporters who have not been there is a very difficult challenge, especially when you're trying to raise funds. That's probably the number one most difficult part for me, because I've been there so many times. And I understand. And when I go to sleep at night and put my head on the pillow, those pictures of those children, they just don't go away. And I know that they're depending on us, and we're the only game in town there right now. And we know if we pull out, what's going to happen to these kids. So that's the hard part, and getting the word out. We're a very small nonprofit located right here in Chattanooga. In fact, we're having a walkathon here Mother's Day weekend to be able to expand the breadth of what we are doing. And that, we're right here. We've been here for almost 26 years.
So you've got the challenge of getting the word out, but even if there's money coming in, Dr. Anany, it's not just a money problem. You described it's a logistics problem on a huge scale. I don't know if I did the math right, but what I understood is that it takes 3 times longer to get into country what it used to take. And if I did the math right, it's almost a 10-fold increase in country transit, which is, for those out here listening from a logistics standpoint, we know about what supply chain issues can be, but this is supply chain challenges on a scale I can't fathom what you'll deal with on a daily basis.
And the determination. If I could just plug something in about Dr. Anany, I'll just quickly tell you, plumpy nut is a ready-to-use therapeutic food that is a critical part of our program. And that is what we use for children that are malnourished, severely or acutely, but the medical complications have not kicked in yet. And so it's a very important part. Well, we knew at the beginning of this year that we were going to have a tough time getting that plumpy nut, and we just needed to get stocked up on it, because these children will die without it. So Anany was smart enough to not even tell me what he was going through morning, noon, and night, in the middle of the night, trying to get this stuff delivered. What would normally take about 2 days from Port-au-Prince, which is 30 miles from the Léogâne region where we are, took 3 weeks. But what it took was unbelievable. It was dangerous. They used the people that were on the ground that are sort of their little, I don't know what you would call them, they're little angels, really, that know who we are. They know what we do. They know we save these children's lives. And so they said, okay, we have a window between 2 o'clock and 4:30 in the morning. And so they picked up the plumpy nut in Port-au-Prince. They brought it. Then there were 2 roadblocks in two little towns there. There's no way you could get through. So these groups, they don't even work for us. They just know who we are. They decided to rent a boat. There was no dock. So imagine these people carrying 50-pound boxes on their heads. They're in water up to their chests, no docks, trying to transport the boxes of plumpy nut onto the boat. They finally, in the dark, get the boat out in the ocean. Well, as Anany said to me, the gangs were in charge of the sea that day. So they turn around, come back, try again 2 days later with the same boat. Finally, 3 weeks later, every bit of that plumping net was delivered to Leogan, and now our healthcare workers are the one that deliver it, and that's another challenge. But what I'm saying is the determination. They don't quit. They don't give up. And if there's anything to be learned, it's that tenacity, that you just don't quit when the going gets tough. And boy, let me tell you, that's what Haitians represent.
And the key message about that is all we live together as Haitian, as a nation. We have this sense of positive relationship and these vibes. And anyone that listening to you might listening to this podcast that used to go to Haiti or know someone that used to travel to Haiti. They are always talking about this personal experience they had at human being level. They say that you go there and you realize, oh, live with people can bring you joy. When you do an action and you see the positive impact of this action on the life of the people in front of you, you realize how good it can be when you team up and you get stuff done. We learned that earlier in our life in Haiti because we do not have the social network. It is the community that supports you, your neighbors, your uncle, your aunt. So when we build a program, we pay attention that at the community level, we have those uncle and aunt that can guide us. To put it in a technical language, this is what some people will call open source intelligence, OSINT.
Yes.
And this is what we build with the community. But they do it naturally because they want to help us. Why they want to help us? Because they realize we are not a project that come for 2 years and we close. What we are doing on the long run is beneficial for their grandchildren, for their cousin living in the countryside. And they say, guys, we will help you to make sure you have the medicine and the plumping note that you need to cross the no man's land.
It's a mission.
It's a mission. I wanted to mention that. To go back on the logistic challenge, let me repeat some of the metrics for the audience. 20% of chronic malnutrition, 3 to 5% of acute and severe malnutrition of the child below 5 years old. It's mean on building the next generation. It is a marathon. At line 0, we will move 25% of the population that could help us. It is really bad. And another aspect for the audience, when you suffer severe and acute malnutrition, you lost your IQ. Even if we save you physically, but those child might not be fit to learn algebra 2 and become the next expert that will push Haiti. So what we are doing is to make sure as much as we can with the support, with the love and the time of people living here in the US and other places in the world, or we are setting up the table in another way where we give equal opportunity to everyone and not to remove 25% from line 0. I wanted to mention that.
Because there's actually 1,000 days after a child is born, Mike, that you can literally affect their IQ with proper nutrition. That's why our target audience is 5 years old and under.
Yes. As I am listening to y'all, I'm reminded of so many other challenges that y'all have worked to overcome. As we begin to kind of wrap up this conversation and put kind of these things in perspective, what would you want to make sure that our viewers and our listeners have as their takeaways?
That, all people have basic common needs. And that when a child is born, we truly believe that it has a right, a God-given right, to make it to 5 years old and beyond. And that's what we're trying to accomplish.
Dr. Anany, what would you like to offer as closing thoughts or takeaways?
the future of any society is based on how much you take care of the women and the children.
Mm-hmm.
When you're looking at the indices of development, human development, the component that looking at the care for the women and the children is practically half of those indicators. So my message is, by having the support, the time and the knowledge of our supporters, they can help us to looking at the underlying causes of that problem in Haiti and help us to build a long-term system that will change the course of the life of the millions of people living in Haiti. The result will not be immediate in 12 to 2 years. But when we are putting those building blocks and key pillars in place, I'm quite sure after 10 years, we will see what is happening. Just be patient, accompany us with locally based organizations, and we will have some very positive impact and good outcome in the life of those people.
I think both of you have made it clearer to me. This is not the short game. This is the long game.
Yes.
And what you have to do is build on what works. I don't know if I heard this correctly, but some of the takeaways I have thus far is that if outsiders come in to help, it's just that. It's outsiders coming in. But if Haitians are helping Haitians, and you have not only that, but you've got an employee base who are in the helping profession, which is very, very challenging to be help, and deal with the challenges they have. But by Haitians helping Haitians, it gives them a sense of we're part of the solution. There is hope. And what I'm hearing loud and clear is that you have to be looking enough in advance. This is not a 90-day crisis. This is not a 9-month crisis. This is a multi-year crisis that, with consistent awareness, with consistent support, and with consistent execution, the challenge, and this is way I understand the quote that you have, your current mission reads, help raise a healthy generation of Haitian children who can in turn raise Haiti from poverty.
Correct.
Very, very powerful. Before I wrap up, I would like to ask our listeners a question. Now, I am changing the topic a little bit, but the question is, you ever wonder why people follow your lead? Is it out of obligation, or is it because they truly believe in your vision? With extensive experience in HR leadership and executive coaching, I've seen firsthand that the essence of leadership is clarity and confidence. It's about practical solutions that deliver bottom line results. If you're ready to lead with impact, let me invite you to visit our website, Bench-Builders, and let's unlock your leadership potential and make real strides towards your goals. So I invite you, until we meet again, focus on leading in a way that inspires others to follow, not because they have to, but because they want to. Patricia and Dr. Anany, thank you for sharing your expertise and your passion with us today.
Thank you, Michael. God bless you for having us. We truly enjoyed the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Patricia, I'll ask you, if listeners want to learn more about your organization, what's the best way for them to reach out?
Yes. Well, there's a few different ways. They can come right here to visit us in Chattanooga. We're on 1401 William Street in Chattanooga. You'll see our logos in the window. Stop in, say hello. We'll show you what we do. Or they can call us, 423-495-1122. That's 423-495-1122. Or better yet, go to our website, which is www.cnphaiti.org. That's cnphaiti.org.
Excellent. Thank you both.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank
This
you.
has been a delight. Thank you so much. God bless you.
I also want to thank our subscribers for joining us, and I hope you have picked up on some quick wins from both Patricia and Dr. Anany that will help you get unstuck and on target. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Get Unstuck and On Target. I hope you've gained insights to help you lead with confidence and drive your organization forward. Remember, at Bench Builders, we're committed to your success, your leadership excellence, and your strategic growth. If you've enjoyed our conversation today, please leave a review, rate, and subscribe to keep up with our latest episodes. This show really grows when listeners like you share it with others. Who do you know who needs to hear what we talked about today? Until next time, I encourage you to stay focused on the target and continue to break new ground on your leadership path.